There is a moment that comes too late for most people. It is the moment someone finally realizes your value. Only after your absence has made the silence unbearable, they remember the way you stayed when others left, the way you listened when no one else cared, the way your presence made their life feel safer, calmer, and more complete. But by then, you are no longer waiting to be chosen. You have changed. You have become disciplined, emotionally untouchable, and impossible to replace. The Stoics understood something most people never learn. Your worth does not increase when you beg to be appreciated. It increases when you master yourself so deeply that losing you becomes a lesson others carry for years. Hello everyone, welcome to the Stoic Hypnosis channel. In this video, you will discover 7 Stoic ways to become so valuable, so grounded, and so rare that those who took you for granted will one day regret letting you go. And the final lesson may change the way you see yourself forever. Now, let's get started. Number 1. Stop begging to be understood. One of the hardest lessons life will ever teach you is this. Not everyone is meant to understand your heart. When we are younger, we waste years trying to explain ourselves. We defend every decision, justify every silence, and exhaust ourselves, hoping that one more conversation will finally make someone see our intentions. But the truth is, people rarely see you through your words. They see you through the lens of their own experiences, fears, and expectations. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that we cannot control another person's judgment, only our own character. The moment you stop chasing understanding, something remarkable happens. You become quieter, but stronger. You no longer feel the need to prove your loyalty, your kindness, or your love. Your actions begin to speak louder than any explanation ever could. Ironically, this is often the moment people start noticing your value, because nothing is more powerful than someone who walks away from the endless need for validation. And if they misunderstand you, let them. Your peace is worth far more than winning an argument that was never meant to be won. Number 2. Become the person who can walk away without hatred. Most people believe strength means fighting until the very end. The Stoics believed otherwise. Real strength is knowing when a chapter has already ended, and having the courage to close the book without bitterness. There will be people who betray your trust, forget your sacrifices, or leave as if everything you shared meant nothing. Your first instinct may be to seek revenge, demand an apology, or make them feel the same pain they caused you. But every moment you spend feeding resentment is another moment they continue to control your life. The Stoic chooses a different path. He walks away, not because he is weak, not because he never cared, but because he understands that his future is too valuable to be chained to yesterday's wounds. There is something deeply unsettling about a person who leaves without hatred. No dramatic farewell, no desperate messages, no endless explanations, just quiet dignity. And months or even years later, people often remember that silence far more than they remember any argument, because calm departure is something few people possess. When someone realizes they lost a person who chose peace over revenge, they often discover that replacing character is far harder than replacing company. Before we continue, take a quiet moment and ask yourself this. Have you been giving your time, your loyalty, and your heart to people who never truly saw your worth? If even one of these Stoic lessons speaks to your life, let me know by leaving the number 1 in the comments. I read every comment, and I'd love to know how many people are choosing self-respect over approval. And if you're on the journey of becoming calmer, wiser, and emotionally stronger each day, consider subscribing and joining this community. Because these lessons are not just about changing how others see you. They are about changing how you see yourself. Now let's continue with the next Stoic principle, one that has the power to completely transform the way people value your presence. Number 3. Learn the rare art of saying less. One of the greatest misconceptions in modern life is that the loudest voice carries the most power. The Stoics knew the opposite. A person who speaks less often reveals more strength than someone who constantly feels the need to fill every silence. Think about the people who leave the deepest impression on you. They are rarely the ones talking the most. They observe before they speak. They choose their words carefully. And when they finally do speak, people naturally listen. Silence is not emptiness. It is self-control. When you stop explaining every decision, announcing every plan, or responding to every criticism, something unexpected begins to happen. Your presence becomes more mysterious. People start wondering what you're thinking instead of assuming they already know. More importantly, silence protects your energy. Not every opinion deserves your response. Not every insult deserves your attention. Not every misunderstanding deserves your correction. Many people lose their value because they reveal everything too quickly, their emotions, their frustrations, even their dreams. But the Stoic understands that some things become stronger when they are protected from unnecessary attention. Eventually, people notice something different about you. You no longer speak to impress. You speak with purpose. And purpose carries a weight that endless words never can. The less you seek attention, the more your presence begins to command it naturally. Number 4. Build a life that does not depend on anyone's presence. There's a quiet sadness that traps countless people for years. It is the belief that happiness lives inside someone else. They convince themselves that they cannot be complete unless a certain person stays, that their peace depends on a relationship, a friendship, or someone else's approval. The Stoics warned against placing your emotional home in another person's hands, because anything outside your control can disappear without warning. People change, promises fade, feelings shift, and life moves in directions no one can predict. If your identity depends on someone staying, then their departure will always feel like the end of your world. But when you build a meaningful life of your own, filled with purpose, discipline, personal growth, meaningful work, quiet mornings, healthy routines, and inner peace, you become emotionally free. You stop fearing abandonment because your life no longer collapses when someone walks away. Ironically, this is when people begin to value you the most, not because you became colder, but because they can sense that you are no longer trying to hold on to anyone out of fear. You enjoy people's company without needing to possess them. You love without losing yourself. And there is something incredibly attractive about a person whose happiness cannot be taken away simply because someone decided to leave. That kind of inner stability is rare, and rare things are never easily forgotten. Number 5. Let your actions become your reputation. There comes a point in life when you realize that words are the cheapest currency in the world. Anyone can promise, anyone can apologize, anyone can claim to be loyal, kind, or trustworthy. But only a few people prove those things consistently over time. The Stoics believed that character is not something you describe. It is something you demonstrate day after day, especially when no one is watching. Most people spend years trying to convince others that they are good people. The Stoic spends those same years becoming one. He does not chase recognition. He does not advertise his sacrifices. He does not keep score of every favor he has done. Instead, he lets time reveal who he truly is. And time never lies. There is an undeniable power in consistency, showing up when you said you would, keeping your word even when it is inconvenient, remaining calm when others lose control, treating people with respect even after disappointment. These quiet choices rarely receive applause in the moment, but they build something far more valuable than attention. They build trust. And trust is one of the rarest things in today's world. Eventually, people begin to notice the difference. While others change their personalities to fit every room they enter, you remain the same, steady, reliable, authentic. The people who once overlooked you may not admit it aloud, but deep inside, they understand something important. Finding another person with your character is far more difficult than they ever imagined. And by the time they realize it, you have already continued your journey without needing their validation. Number 6. Stop trying to be needed. Become impossible to replace. Many people spend their entire lives trying to make themselves useful. The Stoic aims for something much greater. He strives to become valuable. There's a difference. A useful person can always be replaced. Someone else can do the task. Someone else can fill the role. But a valuable person leaves behind something that cannot be copied. Their wisdom, their integrity, their calm presence, their ability to make others feel safe simply by being there. Think about the people you miss the most. It is rarely because of what they gave you. It is because of how they made you feel. They brought peace into chaos, confidence into uncertainty, light into difficult seasons of life. That is what makes a person unforgettable. The Stoic understands that real value comes from developing qualities that no title, salary, or social status can create. Patience when everyone else is rushing. Humility when success arrives. Courage when fear becomes overwhelming. Compassion without weakness. Confidence without arrogance. These qualities cannot be borrowed. They must be earned. And once they become part of who you are, something extraordinary happens. People stop appreciating you only when you are present. They continue appreciating you long after you are gone. Because what they truly lost was never your time. It was the peace your character brought into their lives. Number 7. Become someone who never abandons himself. Perhaps the greatest tragedy in life is not losing someone you love. It is losing yourself while trying to keep them. How many people have hidden their opinions, ignored their dreams, accepted disrespect, or lived in constant anxiety simply because they were afraid of being left behind? Little by little, they traded away pieces of their identity until one day they looked in the mirror and barely recognized the person staring back at them. The Stoics believed that the relationship you have with yourself is the foundation of every other relationship. If you abandon your own principles to keep someone close, you may succeed for a while. But eventually, resentment will replace love, because no relationship can survive the sacrifice of your own soul. The strongest people are not those who never lose others. They are those who refuse to lose themselves. They know when to forgive. They know when to stay. And they know when to leave. Not out of pride, but out of self-respect. Ironically, this is the moment your value becomes undeniable, because people can sense when someone has found an inner peace that does not depend on external approval. That kind of confidence cannot be faked, it cannot be bought, and it cannot be taken away. One day, some people may look back and regret the way they treated you. Others may wish they had valued your loyalty while they still had it. But by then, your greatest victory will not be their regret. It will be this: you no longer need it. Because the moment you stopped abandoning yourself was the moment you finally became someone truly impossible to lose. Conclusion. In the end, becoming valuable is never about making people regret losing you. It is about becoming someone you would never want to lose yourself. The greatest Stoic lesson is this: when you stop chasing approval and start cultivating wisdom, integrity, and inner peace, your life changes from the inside out. Some people will appreciate your worth while you are still with them. Others will only understand it after you're gone. Either way, your mission remains the same. Continue becoming the best version of yourself. As you finish this video, ask yourself one simple question: which of these 7 Stoic principles do I need to practice starting today? Real transformation doesn't happen overnight. It happens through small, consistent choices made every single day. If this video inspired you or gave you a new perspective, please subscribe to the channel and join our growing community. Your support truly motivates us to create more meaningful Stoic lessons that help you build a calmer mind, stronger character, and a more purposeful life. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Until the end of the video, see you in the next videos.